You take revenge on your spouse's affair partner. After I found out about it, I initially thought I should let it go. The affair was over, and everyone had moved on with their lives. Unfortunately, the aftermath was still with me. As though this lover was in our house, like a ghost, everything I did was compared to him. Every suggestion coming from my wife's mouth was like he was advising her. Moreover, it was as though she made it a personal goal to argue about everything, absolutely everything, even when it seemed unreasonable, even irrational to advocate her ideas. The problem here is that she had betrayed me, took sides with someone else, and could not take sides with me again. I don't recall her ever taking my side again. She may have found herself on the same side as me, but not because I was on that side. She didn't know that I knew, or that I had all the evidence I needed. In case you've never been a part of this, the cheating spouse's conscience crushes them and they go hyper-paranoid about everything you do. My wife snarked at me about any and every conversation with a female. I had a business meeting with my new booze, a female, and a very powerful person in the company. The boss decided for a lunch at an expensive restaurant, and brought her assistant, also a female, to the lunch as a second pair of eyes. I knew what she was doing and I appreciated it. Not having a private conversation with a man protected her from gossip. One of my wife's friends saw us in the restaurant and took pictures, and got them to her. By the time I got home she was already in DEFCON 5 mental state. This would not have been an issue before her affair. In fact, we had a lot of couples as friends before that, but not anymore. Her jealousy became greener every day. But it was her own guilty conscience accusing her, and accusing me. One day this became intolerable, so I hired an attorney and gave him the evidence. He told me to stand down on all of it so my hands weren't dirty. I went to see a counselor and he asked an interesting question. Does it bother you that your wife and lover have ruined your life, and they get off scot-free, all the fun and none the worry? Indeed, my wife constantly harped about consequences. Whenever someone does something bad, there are consequences. Well, what I didn't know, was that the attorney was already planning the consequence from hell. The evidence landed in the hands of the lover's wife, and they were divorced by the end of the year. My attorney worked up all the papers for my own divorce and I was ready for that discussion by this time. I moved out of the house after my attorney filed my intentions to maintain ownership so I would not be blamed for abandoning it. My last evening in the home, she cooked spaghetti in the kitchen and I waited for all the bustle to settle, and we sat to eat. Keep in mind I don't like Italian food, but her lover was Italian descent. She learned to cook pasta from him. After we were done eating, I showed her the photos and other evidence, and the blood ran from her face. I slid the divorce papers across the table. I thought she would faint.